Blog Talk Radio.
It's time.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Quantum Communicator. I'm your host, Victor Schueller, and I'm glad to have you with me today. And I'm really looking forward to today's episode. We're going to talk about the 4 steps to Law of Attraction journaling. And we're going to have a wonderful guest on today, Dr. Michael Perlman, and he's going to talk a little bit more about that. Did you know that the ability to create the life that you desire is completely in your hands? Well, according to Dr. Perlman, it's absolutely true. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk more about Law of Attraction journaling, which is what Dr. Perlman calls a 4-step roadmap to create the change that you want in your life. If you don't know who Dr. Perlman is, he's a well-known Boston area psychiatrist and personal life strategist with a spiritual focus. And he uses the Law of Attraction as a touchstone to help people reveal their divine self-expression to live the life of their dreams. And throughout his own journey, he has used journaling as a way of gaining clarity and insights, and at a deeper level as a way of listening to his soul. And the process, which has evolved over time, allowed him to use his own life as a subject of the creative process, and this awakening led him to develop Law of Attraction journaling. And the Law of Attraction journal provides a direct route to self-realization by guiding people to effectively separate their heart's will from their ego's will. And it sounds just completely fascinating. And so I can't wait to welcome my guest to the show, Dr. Perlman. Dr. Perlman, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you for inviting me, Victor.
Now, I had a question for you right at the top of our discussion here today, because some people might even be wondering what the Law of Attraction is. So would you mind telling me what the Law of Attraction means exactly to you so that people can understand that?
Well, what it means to me, of course, personally, is I experience what I think about. I experience what I see and feel and how I want to be. And the clearer I am about what's wanted in my life and what's not wanted, the more I'm able to attract what I want for my life, how I want my life to go. And then the Law of Attraction itself is simply that a restatement of that goes back for millennia. I mean, from the Sermon on the Mount, among many other places over the years. If you what you think about, you experience, or you experience what you're thinking about, whether it's wanted or unwanted. So, cutting to the chase, let's be clear what you want and what you don't want, and that leads right to the revealing your thinking on the journal and reframing it, so you're clear about what you want, your heart's desire, and what you don't want, your ego's desire, what's not yet quite right. Sounds simple, but it's a big step to be honest about what you're thinking and then start to organize it.
Sounds good. Now it sounds to me like there is a spiritual component with the Law of Attraction, and is that true that there is a sort of a spiritual component that kind of runs along with the Law of Attraction?
It's all about a spiritual component. Either you're in touch with your source, your spirituality, your heart's desire, your intuition, or you're at the effect of your ego, the circumstances, your identity, your personality. So which is it? Coming from a heart-centered, intuitive life, or you're still doing the same old drama and still reacting the way you want. So yes, indeed, it is a spirituality. If spirituality is something about, let's say, getting your bondage of self or your identity lessened, and more what your heart's desire expanded and increased.
So it sounds like there's sort of this, through the Law of Attraction and just being open to allowing yourself to become part of that process of utilizing the Law of Attraction, that it does put you more in contact with that spiritual side of yourself. Is that correct?
Well, yes, absolutely. I think the dilemma people get at into is when they talk about spirituality, it's a very short hop to religion and organized religion and beliefs, and it has a very negative connotation for most people. All we're talking about is a very simple experience when you know that saying, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. That when you're into the that sense of delight, the freedom, and you're here, I mean, beyond any thought, idea, belief, attitude, good or bad, you simply are in that zone. That's what one would call spirituality, or the presence of the divinity, or God, or whatever language you use to define that awakened and self-actualized experience.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes we listen to someone, they start talking about their spirituality, and we right away associate that with organized religion, and that's always a hot topic. And sometimes when we start going that route of talking about religion, then it leads itself to disagreement and argument and negative emotions. So I really like how you described it, and how you explain how there's a little bit of a difference between the two. My question to you is...
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that what you just said is the whole point of the law of attraction journaling, because, you see, once you start to think and react with your thoughts and feelings and beliefs, you're kind of going down that slippery slope. So all we're simply doing is take a note and write down what you think and hear. So if you have an issue with spirituality, you can write about it, that it's uncomfortable, I don't like spirituality, religion, blah, blah, blah. And you start to really see what you think about. And once it's down there on the paper, you start to see it from a third-person perspective. And that's where the miracle happens. That's what's most missing in most programming, is that you're going to see that clarity with which you see things is spirituality. Being clear is being connected to that spirituality. So you simply want to expand on it, and you don't let your words be the tail that wags the dog. You're simply assessing what words lead to the experience of well-being and that sense of, beyond any necessary belief, but a question of knowing, and then what words are filled with some agitation, anger, depression. And you separate them, not me. You get to discern which is preferred. So you take charge of the meaning of your words, not anyone else.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And I want to talk. I think this idea of journaling is fascinating because it's different. It's different than any other exposure I've had or any other discussion about the law of attraction that I've talked about. So I really want to get into that. But before I do that, I wanted to ask you, because everybody gets there a different way. How did you get involved with the law of attraction?
I think I was involved with it well before I knew about law of attraction per se. I certainly understood many of the more articulate speakers for the spiritual path or self-realization or self-actualization were speaking from that, let's say, from that group of law of attraction practitioners. And simply the law of attraction is a lovely way of presenting to a public which is hearing it more easily than other descriptions of simply you attract what you think about. And by being clear what you want and what you don't want, you start to change your vibration. So for me, getting clear about it took a path where, I guess, starting from my own experience as a child growing up, and over a period of time, gradually, not so much getting better, it's simply getting less. So the journey is over many areas, a nice family, ordinary, let's say, comfortable, but all the neuroses that's heir to. My religious or spiritual tradition was the Jewish tradition, which was, I found, very valuable to me, although I had a hard time surrendering to that, as many do going through it. I was joking today with a psychiatrist who was saying there are more and more Buddhist practicing psychiatrists, and it turned out that they were all Jews who prefer a secular approach to their spirituality. So it was a nice way to get there. So however you get there. And the red thread for me went through, let's say, my own realization that I was indeed an alcoholic, drinking too much, and I got to another level of seeing the bondage of self. And all along, even prior to that and during that, I would often work with my patients to get clear how they'd like things to be. But the first step was often I would listen to my patients. I wouldn't quite follow what they're saying because they get lost in this way and that way, and I'd say something, no, it's not that, it's the other thing. So I finally said, you know what, let me take notes and write down, and we can work on these things together. I don't want to box you in. I want to try to understand it. And as I wrote it down, and I started basically an early form of the journal, the patients that I was working with said, yeah, that's it, Doc. That's how I feel. And we sort of nailed that problematic area, whatever it was. And in that moment, there was a sense of clarity. That's it. I got it. I'm clear. That's what it is. And then it came to me to open up, well, if you're clear, well, how would you like it to be? And then we started to work on it, and it started to move. People became clear what they thought. Of course, I was doing much of the work, and that was okay, and then they got clear of it, but it then started to evolve over time with the, let's say, the ultimate in this journal, although I had been journaling for many years, dream journaling, and but the problem with much journaling and the journaling I was doing, it didn't really have an inquiry or an intention or intentional journaling. And the law of attraction journaling was what I would call it became a spiritual, meditative inquiry and intentional journaling. In other words, it's sort of looking at your words from a very different point of view, seeing the meaning, what they feel like, and you get to decide what feels better, what's not quite right, and somehow you start to take charge of your mind. Your mind's no longer the tail wagging the dog, but you're paying attention to what you think.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I like that.
And that and much more. I mean, my journey is over here and there, and but it comes back to this getting, as I say to my patients and others, we're not getting better. Hey, we're getting less caught up in our attitudes and ideas and beliefs, less shooting off our mouth, and quieter. And in that quiet and silence, we get to know our truth. And therein, we start to get clear, well, how would I like things to be? And then the world opens up. The universe opens up.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
It is.
Now, the question I have for you was you mentioned these 4 steps to law of attraction journaling mastery.
Yes.
And would you be able to break down with us the kind of the methodology for journaling that you talk about, the kind of journaling that you're talking about, and how it sort of integrates those 4 steps?
Absolutely. The 4 steps are simple levels of, you may call it personal mastery, you may call it spiritual awakening, you may call it sort of the steps to self-realization, and with, not limited to, but with the law of attraction. So you really, in order to start practicing more and more effectively, more and more with personal mastery, you want to be able to first write your thoughts down and get clear what's not wanted and what is wanted. But part and parcel of that is getting these 4 concepts, let's say unconsciously competency in those 4 steps, and they are appreciating contrast. See, once we start to appreciate contrast, we start to discern the vibration of what's wanted and what's not wanted. I use I think I may have developed this wonderful tool. You're welcome to it. The shower theory of life. And when you're in your shower and you're having a good time and you're soaping up and the shampoos and the different, and then something happens. What happens is the temperature pressure changes. Okay? Ooh, that's all. I hate it. Now, we don't jump out and swig a bottle of booze or get a gun or eat an ice cream. We simply, if we're put together reasonably, although we might, we put together, we simply adjust the taps. You see, bring it back into order. So appreciating contrast is you want to discern those thoughts, feelings, situations that we write about in the journal, and that are uncomfortable or discordant, and those that are going well, those we appreciate. So getting that sense that there are some thoughts that, our thoughts have all sorts of vibrational aspects to them that are unique to that person. I mean, I could say the word
Mm-hmm.
mother, and you could have one feeling, and I could have an entirely different feeling, you see? So it's simply
Sure.
what the word means for you, and the word means for me, and then you get to contrast this word, that situation, what would feel better, and as you get more comfortable with appreciating contrast. So it's simply an initial introductory level without which you really can't be much of a creator or be in charge of your life, because how do you discern what's uncomfortable? And the more you get practice in this, the more subtle it is. So you can know that, let's say, if you're fired, that's that's very different than being meaningfully employed. On the other hand, you get to discern certain, let's say, subtle things like the shower or conversations or being with certain people, and it's much more subtle. But you can appreciate the contrast. Yes, I'd much rather be with Paul and rather than with Sam. You see, and there you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean Sam's wrong. It's just that you prefer to be with Paul. And you appreciate the contrast as it revealed in your thinking and feeling by way of the journal, because that's how we keep our feet to the fire. Is that clear?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Well, we're ready to graduate to the second step, which is becoming clear. Now, we talked about simply, let's say, Paul and Sam, and Paul, we enjoy being with. We're clear. Paul's pleasant, and we have a dialogue, and he gets me, I get Paul. And then we get clear that with Sam, I feel judged, I feel uncomfortable. He's kind of not always sober. You see it? So we become clear. There's something in a deeper level than, I like Sam, I don't like Sam, I like Paul, that you feel much more because you're writing more and you're clear of your thoughts, the words pertinent to Sam versus the contrast with Paul, whom you like. And you get a sense of that discordant experience, and you simply are clear that's what that is. I'm uncomfortable with Sam. God love him, but can't stand being around him. Now, being clear gives you the opening to say, well, how would I like to be? Well, to tell you the truth, I need to minimize my time with Sam. See?
Yeah.
You might say, Sam, shove off, or Sam, God love you, but I'm going to another meeting, or Sam, I'm kind of busy this week, this month, this next year, the next rest of my life. However, I'll pray for you. You see? You're clear.
Yeah.
We there? You get that?
Yep, I've heard you. Yep, we got it.
Deeper, more, let's say, more in the marrow sense of what you're clear about. My husband, my wife is X or Y. I'm clear about this, or I'm clear I do that, or you see, and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's simply noticing what is. That's all. We don't want to make a judgment about it, but the judgment is only in the sense of discerning. Gosh, I like being with Sam. I mean, with Paul, and I like, and Sam's a pain in the butt, and that's it. And then as we go there, we may want to go that third step, which is creating a compelling vision. In other words, seeing and feeling and being how you'd like things to be, what you prefer, and we want to expand on that. So we then deliberately open up. What is it that I love about relationships? How do I want to be with people? What is my point of being with people? What's my service? And as you start to let that question hang, you start to get intuition. You start to get a knowing. You know, it's not what your mother told you or your religious people told you. It's simply you're discerning for yourself what it is for you that you really love, that you desire. And as that gets clearer and clearer, that starts to outshine any of the discord that you might feel with someone like a Sam. Remember the pain in the butt, so to speak. So that's a very important thing, is to build on that. We're very much intellectual people and thinking and trying to understand and learn more about it. Now, what was the Civil War cause? I mean, who did what? And these are the generals. No, that's all wonderful, you see? But we're really talking about a spiritual dimension where, what do I love doing in my spare time? What do I love that I'm doing and being and having, even if I didn't get paid for it? What is my service? So you're expanding into a very different domain. Now, if you call it the spiritual realm, and we're agreed that we're not talking any definition, but that knowing experience, well, there we are. And it's simply expanding on what we desire in this life. clearly. And anything discordant that comes up, gee, I would love to have a new car, and then a thought might come, well, gee, I got another year of my auto payments to go. You see, that's discord. So you just simply separate it. I'd love a new car, and I'd love it with leather and this and that, and you see, you start getting excited and attracting that, and then but I got this payment, so you put that aside. Yes, that's my current reality, you know. This is my budget, so forth. But you're not whipsawed by it. The problem is with most spiritual paths and most law of attraction practitioners and teachings is they're not effectively giving you a tool, to effectively separate your heart's desires from your ego's desires. We clear?
Yeah.
We clear?
Yeah,
okay,
that makes a lot of sense.
And people get that. People, once they see it, lay it out, and they start practicing it, they get it. You don't need me hanging around particularly. But then the fourth step is where we talk about surrendering to the process. We want you to learn what it means to surrender to the process. And I could give you the way I did it or do it, but you are finding your way where you surrender to a process of knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want, and balancing the serenity in your life with the passion in your life, and also, and importantly, taking only those reasonable and harmonious actions, that move you to your heart's desire or handle what's not quite right.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
We think
I like
so.
That is really cool. That's really cool, and I like that because so many times the law of attraction, it's about imagining that you have something or putting yourself in a mindset, but again, there's not the distinction of the heart's desire versus the ego's desire. I like that distinction. That's really cool.
Victor, let me add one more thing. It's not only getting that.
Sure, go ahead.
It's literally seeing how your mind is a treasure chest. Your mind can be a wonderful servant, a wonderful guidance or GPS, or it can be a cruel master. And unless and until you get that clarity of your thinking organized, that you are the observer, you're the watcher, you're the creator, you're the one that prefers how you want things to be in that conscious knowing, then you're at the effect of this thought or that. You're changing deck chairs in the Titanic. You have good thoughts, you have bad thoughts, and you haven't nailed down what it is. It's that essentially taking charge of your mind.
Yeah, I like that. Well, we're getting to the end of our talk, unfortunately, because it's been a fascinating conversation and very enlightening. But I just wanted to give you an opportunity to tell people a little bit about your website, where they can find out more about you. So if someone's listening to this and they say, I like this law of attraction journaling stuff, and it sounds really intriguing, and it sounds like something different than I've been doing before, and I think in the different I can get the results that I'm looking for, how can people get in touch with you? How can people find out more about you? Great.
Well, thank you. The website is Law of Attraction Journaling. Kind of long, but lawofattractionjournaling.com. And there's all sorts of information on that, blogs and information. And what our best feature is it's absolutely free, Law of Attraction Journal. And you can sign up. It's absolutely confidential. You are the only one that knows the password to it. And you can have it for yourself. Just let us know your name and your email address. And then we also have on that journal all sorts of prompts and information. And we do suggest you join our Law of Attraction Journaling community on Facebook. And we've got several hundred members, and it's growing exponentially, as well as offering a free Thursday coaching seminar, Law of Attraction Journaling Coaching Seminar, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays. So, and I do, and team responds to all inquiries, questions, and we want to help you be a success with taking charge of your life and your destiny using the Law of Attraction Journaling program.
You know, that's really cool, and that's very generous of you to provide that kind of service, that kind of a product and then also providing the opportunity for coaching. That's tremendous. That's tremendous, and I thank you for sharing that with us, because I'm sure that's going to help a lot of people.
Well, thank you very much, Victor. The essence is that as we move into the language and the clarity of how to present this, we're really sharing this with people because our journal users are our best teachers in getting clear how to language it, to frame it, because it is really a very, let's say it's a big step for people to reveal their thinking and want to take charge of their life. It is very difficult for people to want to tell the truth about what they think about, what they feel, because it then starts to reveal their, let's say, limitations, their fears, their doubts, and their senses of inadequacy or lack. And yet, on the other hand, those people that are willing to do that start to open up to a much bigger horizon filled with a great deal of fullness and love and possibility and a sense of joy in enjoying their lives. So we're learning how to language this and present this. And so that's why we're willing and delighted to have the dialogue with those people signing up, and they're helping us as much as we hope they get helped by this.
That's really awesome. That's cool.
Thank you.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you sharing those 4 steps with us, and I think it's really going to help a lot of people. And so I want to thank you for your time and taking the time to join us today. And for those of you who are listening to this, I really encourage you, go over to that website, lawofattractionjournaling.com. Check it out. Right when you get there, you'll see the banner at the top, but then underneath it says sign up for a free journal. You just click the Join Now button. Go ahead and sign up and give it a try. It doesn't hurt to try it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the benefits of journaling. I know that I've never tried the Law of Attraction journaling, so I'm really excited about diving into the Law of Attraction journaling. But I encourage you to take a chance with it, give it a shot, and see what difference it makes for you. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Quantum Communicator. I hope you really enjoyed this. I know I sure did. And you take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time on the Quantum Communicator. Take care. Goodbye.